I think we might get started. Welcome everybody to our today, Future-Proof Your Factory with Infor CSI. My name is Tony Hammond. I'm the Head of Sales for Swivel. I'd just like to introduce our team who are on the call today. So we've got Erin Bombell from Marketing. She's in the background, behind the scenes. There she is. Thank you. Hello, Erin. She's helped us put this fantastic pack together today and will be running the webinar for us. And we also have Evelyn Carter, our GM of ERP Services. Just like to quickly go through some housekeeping. So if we can just ask all of our questions, be put in the chat towards the end, and we'll cover those off towards the end of the session, either by going through the chat or by you being able to raise your hand, the chat there on the right-hand side. You can raise your hand, which is the button in the middle, and we just ask you block your cameras and or your microphones if you don't wish to be part of the recording today. Thank you for that, Ev. So good afternoon. If you are constantly dealing with surprise orders, last-minute changes, and the general chaos of unpredictable customer demand, then you're in the right place today. Today, Evelyn will show you how to turn that demand volatility from threat into a competitive advantage. So let's get stuck in. Our webinar today titled Future-Proof Your Factory, How to Streamline Your Operations with Infor CSI. In this webinar today, we're not talking about minor tweaks to your processes, we're talking about operational transformation. The factories are run on instant unified data, not only siloed systems that force your teams to spend hours reconciling spreadsheets. If your planning teams are currently guessing, panicking, and constantly paying to expedite supplies, then you're behind. In the next 20 minutes, we're going to prove that you can move from reactive firefighting to proactive data-driven planning. We're going to dive right into Infor CloudSuite Industrial and show you exactly how to automate that critical planning workflow. We'll start by defining a massive problem that we're here to solve, which is the hidden cost of siloed data. So let me introduce you to Evelyn Carter. Evelyn is our GM of ERP Services. Evelyn has worked with Infor for over 15 years. So she started when she was about 5, I think. Over to you, Evelyn.
Thanks, Tony. As Tony mentioned, I've been working within manufacturing and distribution for over 15 years, utilizing Infor CloudSuite Industrial across multiple industries, including metal fabrication and chemical blending. Within those businesses, I had the opportunity to walk a mile in your shoes, walking within cross-functional business functions, including finance, procurement, and planning, before jumping the fence and going to the evil side and becoming a consultant for Swivel. So let's recap the problem, or the cost of being disconnected. For most manufacturers, it isn't actually the demand change itself, it's being blind to the impact it causes. When sales, production, and purchasing data are siloed, one single urgent order will trigger a chaotic scramble. That's the reality of legacy systems. It's the planner's nightmare. We all know the cycle. One large unexpected sales order hits the system and our response is to panic. Why? Because we simply cannot trust the data. We have to open a separate forecast spreadsheet, manually pull in inventory numbers from another, which are already probably days old, and all of this just to make a guess as to whether or not we can deliver it on time. The core issue is simple. Our data isn't integrated, and that impacts our business in multiple ways. Firstly, rushed fees. We stock out of a critical component because our inventory data wasn't real time, and it forced us to pay a premium for freight just in order to meet that customer commitment. Secondly, excess cash. To compensate for this uncertainty, we overorder everything, and this ties up working capital in inventory that just sits on our warehouse shelves. These are just some of the hidden costs of legacy ERP systems. The problem isn't actually the planner herself, it's the fragmentation of the data. It's the lack of a single source of truth. Every planning decision is scattered across multiple different systems and likely mountains of spreadsheets. But don't worry, there's a shift. Imagine if a customer order instantly checked the availability of real-time inventory across multiple warehouse locations, and consulted up-to-date planning information to provide a realistic, capable to promise due date, and then flagged all other teams to exceptions and generated an accurate supply plan. That seamless, proactive workflow is the core shift a modern cloud ERP provides. This is where Infor CloudSuite Industrial changes the game. It's not just a record keeper, it's a live system that connects a change in customer demand directly to your supply chain. So let's jump in to a product demonstration and see it all in action. I'll not only go through how Infor can be proactive with abilities such as creating a statistical sales forecast, but also able to react to a change in customer demand and how that will seamlessly flow through to all of your other areas in your supply chain. Firstly, I'll show you Infor's Workspace, a landing dashboard with cross-functional, business-critical information at your fingertips. As planners, we're no strangers to data. We live and breathe it every day. The benefit of CloudSuite Industrial is that we're no longer forced to deal within spreadsheets. Instead, we are served up dashboards with widgets containing critical information that needs to be actioned now. For example, as a planner, I may need to review customer orders that are running late that may skew or pollute my forecasting information. The benefit here is that I am able to click and drill down to see the variety of different customers and orders that are affected. I can then further drill down into each customer to have a look at what items are being delayed, as well as read any notes from the team advising what the issue is and when this will be resolved. Let's jump into our forecast review. CloudSuite Industrial allows me to review my forecast for my pen line within the application itself, presenting me this dashboard listing out all of my items, but flagging the items that require my immediate intervention in red. The system is letting me know that this item is not tracking or needs human intervention to review the figures, as well as letting me know that this item requires a review. I would have flagged this item that I wanted to review it this month and left myself a note of what I needed to do. Here, I need to check with sales if this item is still on promotion, and I've also provided how I updated the data last month to smooth out those peaks and troughs to ensure that my forecast was accurate moving forward. Coming back and looking at the data, I can clearly see that there has been a sharp decline in sales, probably due to the fact that the item is no longer on promotion and customers took advantage of the low prices during the promotional period. I will confirm that with sales and then go through and update my forecast history to reflect what would have happened if that item wasn't on promotion in order to not skew the forecast information moving forward. I'm also going to remove this item from review, as I can now say that the item is back to tracking normally, and I'm going to go ahead and recalculate the forecast before saving and ensuring that the item is no longer flagged for review. This is just one example of a dashboard within CloudSuite Industrial that lets you stay ahead of the game. Now let's have a look at how CloudSuite Industrial reacts to a really big change in demand. Customer service have just heard back from a client who is hoping to get this order as soon as possible. So customer service go ahead and enter the order and ask the system the capable to promise due date. This is having a look at all of the planning information and returning back the soonest possible date that we could get this to the client. So the customer confirms this, as well as writing a note letting the team know that this is a pipe fill order as a once-off, just so that the team is aware that this is a real order. Let's jump straight in to how a supply planner would respond to a change in customer requirements. Material Planner's Workbench is the form used to convert plans into jobs or purchase orders. When an unexpected change happens, an exception message is raised, insinuating that someone needs to take a look and take immediate action. As indicated here, we can see that this black pen requires our attention as we need to expedite this job by 4 days. To get a full understanding, we need to drill down into the planning detail to get an understanding of both the supply and the customer side of the story. Here I can see that for this black pen, I currently have 292 in stock, and then I'm able to see all of my outstanding requirements, such as customer orders or planned forecast for stock due to leave my warehouse. But I'm also able to see the supply side of items due to be receipted in, either on a job, a purchase order, or a planned requirement. As I can see, this record here is the exception. It's advising that for this plan, I need to expedite it by 4 days, which means I can't rely on the typical fixed lead time, but I instead need to expedite. To get an understanding of why I need to do this, I just have a look at the corresponding requirement for this customer order. I can see that this customer is ordering 850, well above the typical forecast for this item. So I'm going to drill down and get an understanding of what happened with this customer order. Luckily for me, someone's left a note against the customer order record, letting me know that this is a special once-off order for a new store that is simply applying to pipe fill their store. Due to this, I am confident in converting this plan and expediting it for 4 days in order for the customer to receive the stock when we promised. I simply select the record from within the workbench and convert the job, and the system goes ahead and creates that expedited job for me. Let's take it one step further and put ourselves in the production planner's shoes. They've just received notification from the supply planner to expedite this job as soon as possible for a pipe fill order. The first thing that we need to do is ensure that we have all of the relevant components in order to start manufacturing of these black pens. CloudSuite Industrial has the form component shortages that does it for us. It will go through all of the levels of the BOM, checking for any component shortages along the way. For this particular manufacturing job of making black pens, I can see 3 component shortages that are still outstanding before I can release the job to the production floor. The first one is a purchase order for pen lids that I can see is due to the warehouse in a few days, well before starting the job. The next component is a sub-assembly to manufacture the pen body that will go into the assembly of the finished pen. I can see that this is due to start the same day as I'm starting my finished good pen. This is probably a little bit tight, and due to the urgency around this job, I'm going to try to move forward the sub-assembly of the pen body, but I can see here that the system has flagged a component shortage of the pen sleeve that's required for that body against purchase order 28. This is not due to arrive until the 27th, which is why the job is starting the next morning. I would like to drill down against that purchase order 28 to get an understanding of whether or not I can trust the system and bring forward the start of that pen body to be on the 27th. I can see here that the due date clearly states the 27th, and if I drill down into the notes, I can see that purchasing has spoken to and confirmed with the supplier a first drop slot at 8 AM. This makes me confident to update the due date of the job order to start on the 27th rather than the 28th to ensure that by the 28th I'm ready and will have no component shortages for my black pen. Let's quickly recap the powerful insights that we've covered off in the last 10 minutes, focusing on how CloudSuite Industrial streamlines your operations. Firstly, unified intelligence. The fundamental shift is moving to one system of truth that brings your entire business together. This centralization empowers your users to make informed, confident decisions without panic or manual data consolidation. This capability is delivered through Infor's workspaces, a totally configurable, role-specific dashboard that serves up cross-functional, business-critical information immediately. Secondly, proactive planning. We demonstrated only one of Infor's ability, leveraging statistical sales forecasting, allowing you to create and review these forecasts, ensuring that your supply plans are based on future customer requirements, thus reducing the low visibility planning and minimalizing unnecessary inventory overstocking. Thirdly, we looked at the flawless reaction. In the last few minutes of the product demonstration, we saw how CloudSuite Industrial enables you to pivot and deal flawlessly with an unexpected change. One of these features is driven by the capable to promise functionality, which immediately provides customer service with an accurate fulfillment timeline when there's no stock currently available. And this decision automatically flows throughout the rest of the system, flagging exceptions to the procurement and production teams for immediate actions. With these capabilities, CloudSuite Industrial transforms daily operations from reactive firefighting to intelligent and proactive management. I'd now like to open the floor for questions.
I'll jump in and ask a couple of questions, Ev, if I may.
You certainly can.
So you showed us how easy it was to raise a job order. Is the process much the same, or could you take us through what it looks like to raise a purchase order as well?
I sure can. So let me jump back into the application. Here, during the product demonstration, I was showing you the Material Planners Workbench, which is the form used to convert plans into jobs. There's another view for purchase orders, so it's exactly the same form and works in a very similar way. Here, I'm provided with all of my plans from a procurement perspective. It still flags any sort of exception messages where I need to expedite things or if things are running late. It also provides information such as lead time so that I can make a decision on whether I use my primary vendor or if I have time to use an alternate vendor. I can still drill down into the planning detail to get the whole information like we did with the job. And much the same, I will go through and process the lines that I want to convert and generate that order. It goes ahead and creates the purchase order for me. One of the benefits with CloudSuite Industrial is the ability to enable workflows to increase productivity. One of the great ones that a lot of our clients use is the document profiles, which will allow an action such as printing or confirming a purchase order to sending out an email with that PDF straight to that vendor, saving time for that purchasing officer.
That's great, thank you. The other thing you showed us, which I thought was really interesting, was how Infor is dealing with spikes in forecasting. With AI being on everybody's lips, we know that Infor has made strong inroads with AI and machine learning. I believe you've got a case study that you might be able to share with us in relation to that.
I certainly do. I totally forgot to go here. So yes, Oliver is a customer of Infor's over in the US that is utilizing Infor AI to see huge business benefits, including a 90% reduction in identifying customer demand changes by leveraging machine learning. It used to be called Infor Coleman, but it's been rebranded to Infor AI. So they use it to be able to detect subtle customer order anomalies, leveraging in market trends, which enables them to have proactive inventory optimizations. The example in the case study was that AI was actually able to pick up and recognize a shift in an individual customer's order patterns. The planner was able to then ring up the customer and confirm that the school had actually changed the size of their juice cup from something like 250 mils to 750 mils. That allowed them to adjust the future requirements to ensure that they were making and stocking the right products for their clients. They now rely on Infor's AI machine learning to pick up these changes in customer demands, and the resource that previously dedicated 90% of her time in that role doing that is now reallocating her time to other value-adding activities within the business. We'll send a link to the white paper in the video if people are more interested in other areas that Infor are utilizing AI in the industries.
Fantastic, thank you. Well, that was excellent. Thank you very much, Evelyn. We now open the floor to any other questions. So if anyone's got any questions, please feel free just to either pop them in the chat, or you can use the raise your hand button of your screen to be able to ask the question live on air if you're going to do that.
Hey, Yenny, what would you like to ask?
I'd like to ask if there's what's the process in terms of their interest with Scribble and CSI? What's the process that you would recommend with the organization of interest?
Thanks, Jenny. Great question. So at the bottom of the last screen of the webinar there are my contact details. So just reintroducing myself, my name's Tony Hammond. I'm the head of sales for Scribble. Scribble are a Gold Infor partner. So we can help you with road mapping of the Infor Cloud Industrial Suite. We can come on site and do walkthroughs at your premises, put together quotations, and also do demos and deep dives of the product, which is something Evelyn specialises in. So if there's any interest, you can reach out to me on the email address on the contact sheet there, tony@scribble.com.au, or on my mobile number.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Jenny. We had another question pop up.
I think that was someone just thanking us for our time.
Shivani, thank you. Any further questions? Okay, well, if there's no further questions, I think we can probably wrap that up and give you 5 minutes of your lives back. Thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate that it's not easy to always take 25 minutes or half an hour during your busy schedules, so much appreciated, and we look forward to speaking with you all again shortly.